the wet. But James, it's not nice, is it? And Donington Park isn't easy in the wet.
It certainly isn't. It's actually harder than it used to be, and even just walking on the grid, it feels quite slippy, I've got to say. One of the problems is that the surface is so smooth and so tight grained, the actual tarmac, that in actual fact the water, as you can see, just lies on the surface, and until it's actually rolled off and had a chance to dry, there's no actual pieces of tarmac, if you get what I mean, sticking through the water. And this is a problem we saw at the GP this year. The best riders on the GP bikes sliding around all over the place, and I really don't envy the guys the job of choosing tyres. I mean, obviously, full wets at the moment. The race will be a full wet race. They won't stop it if it gets any worse or any better. So if you start on wets and it dries out, the sun's going to be out in 2 minutes, and it dries out, you're actually going to be sliding around on the wrong tyres. I mean, what I would do in this situation is go with whatever your championship rivals around you in the championship were on. That's what I go for, because if they're in trouble, you're in trouble.
How do you know that, though? It's always last minute.
You try and take a look and cheat and sneak. That's what you do.
Who are you going to talk to? Because obviously pressure on Camia. He's got a chance to wrap it up here this afternoon.
First of all, I'm going to go down back to the second row and have a word with Leon Camia. Leon, if I can just get a word with you. Things have gone really well for you this year. Did you expect them to go so well all year?
No, I didn't really expect to be leading the championship at this point, but I mean, still anything can go wrong, so just trying to keep focused on what I've got to do. So hopefully this ain't going to be a problem in the rain. I know it's the same for everyone, so I think we've got a pretty good setup for the rain. It's just holding it together in conditions like this is always the problem. So fingers crossed it'll all just I'll finish and get a half-decent result. So.
Yeah, just in the wet, there's more mental pressure, because you know one single mistake can be that's the end of your race. Have you tested it in the wet with this surface?
Yeah, the Friday practice was already wet, so we got a bit of testing, and it's just it's always different on the day. You know, there's a lot more pressure and everything in the race, so you know, hopefully we just get a good start, get away with them, and just play it as it comes. You know. So.
And you realise, well, obviously you realise if you beat Jones over the line, you're the champion.
Yeah, I'm not. I know Cal can still be a problem in the championship as well, but I've got 2 minutes to do it in, so I'm not really looking to do it today. You know, just play it cool.
This is a cool man. Thanks a lot, Liam.
Thank you.
Now we're going to nick a word with. We're going to go and have a word with Gary Eckerall. Gary, waiting for you, man. Just not what you needed.
No, yeah, rain's all right, to be honest, Jamie. You know, it adds we're 26 points behind, and we need some movement up in the points position, and rain's not always a bad thing at a time like this. It adds a bit of interest to the whole thing.
It certainly adds interest, but certainly if I was out there now, I would be more nervous had it been dry.
No, I think Leon's the one. We're chasing Leon. He's got a lot more to think about than us right now.
Yeah, so. You're trying to convince yourselves of that. Have you got any plans for next year? I know this has been you've put a superb team together and a fantastic bike out on track every time you two men have been out. Are you talking for next year already?
Yeah, Jamie, for sure. I mean, we always have to get our plans going early, and you know, North Point have done such a fantastic job with us this year, and always bringing riders like Cal and Craig through, and they've just done a fantastic job. And Tom Sykes ultimately, and hopefully we can do something again next year and do as good a job as we've done this year. So it's fantastic.
Thanks, Gary. Good luck. And all the young riders these days are all up on the PR stuff. They can all talk. They're all articulate. One of these who is very clever. I'd like to admit it. I mean, he can talk. In fact, shutting him up's the problem. Is Craig Jones. But you realise, of course, that to stay for your championship hopes to stay alive, you must beat the man next to Leon Camia today.
Yeah, definitely. But at the end of the day, I've got nothing to lose. He's got everything to lose. So that's the attitude that I'm going into this race, James. And I'm going to push all the way, and I'm going to try and get that victory.
You like the wet or not? A lot of riders like it. They see themselves getting better results in the wet. They see themselves have rain riders. Do you like the wet, don't you?
I like to think I'm a sensible rider in the wet. I try not to do anything stupid. Obviously, mistakes are much more easy to come across in the wet. I wouldn't say I'm any better or worse in the wet. I'll just have to see. Last time I raced here at Donington in the wet, I did all right, and I was lying there or thereabouts. So I'll just have to see.
I told you good talk. Well, good luck, Craig.
Thank you very much.
We're going to nip back to the front row now and have a word with the man of the moment with a silly hat on. We're going to have a word with, just sneak around this, excuse me, Cal. What's with the hat, son?
Especially for you.
What do you mean?
You got whippets.
That's my hat. I left it in my car this morning.
I thought so. Well, you know, I knew you were coming on the grid today. I thought I'd look good for you.
I'll tell you what, next thing he'll be getting whippets and pigeons.
Well, you know, I'm just going to get my head down and, you know, have a go at this dry race.
I tell you what, you might not be too far from the truth. This is going to dry out so quick. When the sun comes out this quick, once the lime water's gone, it will dry out very quick. But you're the man of the moment. You're winning everything at the minute, and looking safe and spectacular doing it. You're looking forward to this, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, it's track I like, and you know, I don't see no reason why we can't win again here this weekend at Donington. But yeah, second on the grid, I'm happy with that. Front row start. We just got to get our head down.
Right, well, good luck and get a bit of a shave then, will you? That's Cal Crutchlow, man of the moment on these bikes, and we're just going to have a little word with, if we back up this way, or with me, an old sparring partner of mine from World Supersport, deep in conversation with his crew at the minute, but this is a man I've known for a long time, the nicest guy you'll meet in the paddock actually, and hitting some form that we all know he's capable of. This is his first pole position, he took his first win a couple of rounds ago. Perry, you must be fairly happy, say you?
I was happy maybe 10 minutes ago, you know, before to this race, because you know I have a good setting in the dry conditions. Yesterday I did the pole position like you said, and you know it was a good setting. But anyway, now it's the track is wet, and we have to try to do the same, you know, but with the wet conditions.
Yeah, but your experience, and you're probably the most experienced person in the race, you've raced everywhere, in every condition and virtually every bike, must give you some advantage in choosing tyres and knowing what to do in dodgy conditions like we've got today.
Yeah, but as you know, these conditions is very difficult. I mean, you have really small mistake and you're gone, or you don't choose the right tyre. You know, now is a good sun, you know, and we take the hard, the soft. It's difficult. The track also is not, I think, not drying very quick, but you know, I think it's a little bit gamble, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I must admit, I don't envy your choice, but I do wish you all the best, old mate.
Thanks very much.
Right, we're going to nick off over here and we're going to have a word with Tommy Sykes. This is good Huddersfield, good Yorkshire lad is Tommy. We'll get him this side. Tommy, nothing scares you. You're not scared of this, are you?
No, we're just trying to decide which tyres to go for. Like I said, we'll just see what happens. We're going to gamble on something and see if it pulls off. We've got nothing to lose, so just also like to see on my chin here that there's a new sponsor. So anyone wearing musical instruments, if you fancy a fancy bag, get onto this website.
Cheers, Tommy. Good luck, mate. Right, that's us done. It's dry now. I do not envy these boys a choice. It's going to be... I can't imagine what it's going to like to interrogate this first lap. Back to Neil and Jonathan in com.
James, before you go, I just got to get your opinion on what you would go with on this particular situation.
I tell you what, it's going to dry out quick. Anywhere the water rolls off the surface will dry very, very quickly.
So you go dries?
No, I'd go with whatever my championship rivals who are around me in the championship have on, because I'm not a gambler.
Fair enough, thanks, James.
Laps here with anything except full wet tyres. It could well dry up. There's already, we've got a follow there.
On the warm-up lap as well.
Well, it is that slippy, and as James said, the surface here, very grippy surface in the dry, but it's a real close grained surface, so the water actually doesn't sit in the surface as opposed to sitting on top of the surface, so you have to be really careful. Someone losing the front there just got in a little bit hot into the Melbourne hairpin. Perfectly okay, but down is out.
Win of the season, he certainly deserves it. He knows what his buddy Gregorio Lavia has done. I notice Tom Sykes is warming up his tyre. I think the gamble he might have made, look at him pulling the smoke off that tyre, is to possibly go with a slightly, go with a dry setup, because he said he was going to make a gamble.
Trying to get some temperature into rear there, but of course the front stays stone cold. That was number 20, Pete Spalding, that went down there, the 19th qualifier.
So then, we're about to get underway. The Dunlop clock ticks away for the start of this one. Cal Crutchlow looks to his right, looks to his left. Per Reba head down, and concentration on Redgate. Look out for Sykes. Watch out for Cammy from the second row. He can wrap up the title here. Away we go. A brilliant start from Craig Jones. Unbelievable start from the second row. He's alongside Cal Crutchlow already as they tip into the first corner. But it is Per Reba who takes the whole shot.
He did get a flyer. He got a nice start on that MSS Discovery Kawasaki. Per Reba had a moment there. I can see him just get out of our shot, and a bit of a moment coming out there. This is an absolute nightmare of a first lap for these Supersport riders.
This is so scary. They are tiptoeing down one of the fastest two corners in motor racing, down the Craner curves, down towards the old hairpin here at Donington Park in the wet. Tough times. Per Reba leads it. Wonderful pictures.
Great, yeah, Reba. He's sitting there saying he was slightly nervous, but there's no way he's nervous now. The two N-gauge Nokia Honda's there, the North Point team.
And
second
Cal
and
Crutchlow
third.
goes into the lead, and Jones goes with him into almost second place, but not quite.
Brave move there from Cal Crutchlow, but he has been the man in the last couple of rounds.
Camia
Sitting
Didn't
there,
get the best of
sitting there.
starts. Vincent did. 24 is Vincent. Jay Vincent is up in 4th place.
Well, Jay Vincent's been injured for the last 2 or 3 rounds, but a lot less physical when conditions are like these, and nice, smooth. Jay Vincent's got a brilliant wet weather riding style, real fantastic rider, and great in the wet, nice and smooth.
This is a smart move by Leon Camier, who's in about 8th place right now, but he knows he doesn't need to win it this afternoon. He just needs to score points, and Cal Crutchlow needs to win, and that's what he's doing at the moment. He's in the lead ahead of Per Reba.
He needs to keep it upright, because Leon Camier in 8th position, as you said, just on the tail end. You can see the orange bike there in 8th position. Coming down the inside of Simon Andrews, I think, on the TAS Suzuki into the Melbourne hairpin.
Out of the Melbourne they come then to complete the first lap down towards Goddard's. Good start from Cal Crutchlow. Could be playing in the Premier League had he gone a different way in his career, but no, he chose not to take the money. He wanted to go and paddle in the wet with the big boys of the bike world.
Good
and that's
man.
what he's doing.
And we are the benefactors of that decision, certainly. Craig Jones having the
Rob
moment.
Frost going down.
Oh no.
If it wasn't for bad luck, what luck would he have? Poor old Rob. A lot of injuries in the past, a big one last year. Let's hope he's okay this time. Tough time again, but surely the attrition rate is going to be high in this one, especially when they start to push.
Without tempting fate, Cal Crutchlow, wet, dry, practice races, he's unbeatable at the moment. And look at the gap he's got there, almost a second he's got at the front here. Per Reba still in 2nd position, Craig Jones in 3rd, Jay Vincent in 4th.
What I like about Cal, he's always been, you know, a confident guy. He's always been doing wheelies and keeping up the ball and having a joke with everybody, just like he did with James Whittam. But when that, you know, translates to the track, it also means good. Craig Jones is just as confident. Into 2nd he goes. Per Reba settling now for 3rd. But, well, Gary Ackorold said that he needed a bit of wet weather maybe to help his boys, and that's exactly what he's getting.
Well, Cal Crutchlow, as Leon Camier said, is still a championship threat. Cal Crutchlow's way at the front there. Camier, he's back in 6th position.
And this is what Craig Jones needs as well, because 20 points for him will get him in contention as well with Leon Camier, because at the moment the gap is 26 points. He'll bring it within less than a race, and then it's all to play for.
It certainly is at Brands Hatch. Top Supersport Cup rider at the moment is James Hillier. He's down in 11th position. James Hillier has a couple of 3rd positions this year. Former R6 Cup runner, but doing a good job there in the wet here at Donington.
Oh, look at that! Well, that was quite incredible skill. This is reminiscent in the dry of the triumph of Craig Jones, currently in 2nd place, but now on the Honda, of course. Cal Crutchlow absolutely sideways. Check this out.
Fantastic, backing it in there. That was brilliant. I mean,
that takes confidence.
That's the sort of reputation that his teammate Craig Jones has got. He backs that Engage Nokia Honda in there in sideways, but Cal Crutchlow really is on a crested wave, and when you've got this sort of form, you can do stuff like that. You're not going to get in trouble. You do get away with it. You are actually riding on a different plane. Jay Vincent there up to 3rd position.
Well, Jay Vincent, it makes me remember now how good Jay Vincent is in the wet. So you could be watching a really good battle between Jay Vincent and the 2 Engage Nokia boys.
Well, Jay Vincent, wet or dry, has always been a strong runner in the Supersport Championship. That injury has just cost him results, certainly last 2 or 3 rounds, but at the moment doing a great job, and right on the back of Cal Crutchlow there. Seen Cal Crutchlow having a little moment coming out of the old hairpin, but Jay Vincent solid as a rock right behind them. Shoesmith
up to 15th position, Johnson 14th, Neat 13th. Spraston, as you said, the Cup leader is in 16th at the moment. Jay Vincent, look at him on Craig Jones. Very good indeed.
Lovely move there, just ghosting past that McLean's. Craig Jones just keeping things in line, keeping things safe. You can see the track drying out. There is a dry line appearing. It's by no means dry at the moment, and these tyres are the right tyres, full wet tyres, because majority of the track you are going through standing water, so the tyres will stay nice and cool, and they'll work perfectly okay on the bits of track that are more dry. Craig Jones down the inside, backing it in, not close enough to make that pass though.
And Laverty and Camier. Camier has joined the party. Look, there he is, number 2 in the background, just behind Per Reba. He got past Laverty, and Camier has got the hurry up and decided to join the party.
He has. Per Reba fighting back down the inside at Craig Jones into the hairpin. Eugene Laverty there on the Red Bull Honda, he's doing a good job right behind Camier.
Yeah, the Red Bull people are really pleased with him. They've had a good season with him, and they think he's a super chap. And I think they're right.
Certainly, Eugene Laverty, one of the talented trio of the Laverty family. Of course, Michael Laverty injured at the moment on the Stobart Honda, number 33 in British Superbike, and just recovering from injury at Silverstone. And John Laverty as well, he's out there in the Superstock Championship.
Well, the Laverty family, I don't know what they're feeding them, but are you feeding your boys the same sort of stuff?
Yeah, it must be Guinness. The Guinness part of the world, aren't they? Maybe get some of that.
Well, this race settling down, it may not be fast and furious, but it is on absolute tenterhooks at the moment, because Crutchlow leads from Vincent and Reba, and Jones and Camia are right there with them. Camia, the man we're obviously watching, he can take the title here, but he's got to do it carefully and maturely is the best word I can use, because it really is going to take a good head on a 19-year-old in these conditions to go through these very talented men and take the title away.
Yeah, well, he's got all that. He knows how to win races. He knows how to finish when he can't win, and he knows how to win championships. Craig Jones underneath Per Reba there. These are fantastic pictures, because you can see how much water's lying there, and you can see how these tyres are cutting through it. It's just amazing the angle of lean they can have and the amount of grip they can have when there's so much standing water on a racetrack.
Remember, all that Camia needs to do is beat Jones on the track this afternoon. And look, he's inches away. Only him and Per Reba stand between them. And here comes Camia on Per Reba. But then again, Reba's going to have a go at Jones. And now all three of them are going to come together and Foggies! No, they're not. But, more importantly, Camia gets ahead of Craig Jones. Now, Craig Jones won't need a second invitation to know that it's number 2 that's gone past him.
He certainly won't. Leon Camia really is a good riding style, and when conditions are like this, he's taller than his other riders. He can use his body weight, he can use his long legs to move himself around the bike, keep the bike upright but hang his body off, so his riding style works really well in these conditions.
Oh, this is sensational. Right now, it almost feels as though it's in slow motion, but Craig Jones, the championship is being played out right in front of your eyes here in the slow motion of the wet conditions, effectively, because Camia, who is in 3rd at the moment, but more importantly, ahead of Craig Jones. Crutchlow isn't out of it by any means, because, of course, he leads the way. So Camia, though, won't take the title if Crutchlow's right there. Could be interesting, this.
It certainly could, and of course very tricky conditions, very slippy conditions. These guys have to be inch perfect. They have to use the best of the tyres, they have to use the driest part of the track, and they have to avoid getting mixed up with each other. It really is like riding on a knife edge when conditions are like these.
Well, this is so interesting for Camia, because where he sits at the moment, he will take the title. Because Crutchlow, he only needs to be in the top 4 if Crutchlow wins. But of course, if it's Jones he's worried about, he just needs to stay ahead of him. So that's the scenario, but Camia will be all too aware of it, because he told me it last night. So he knows exactly where he is in the championship and where he is on track.
Well, Camia, he's a young rider, but he's got a lot of experience. He's been out there on the world stage in 125 GPs, rode for 125, rode in 125s in the British Championship earlier on in his career, but this is his 2nd year in Supersport on the Padgett Hondas and doing a brilliant job.
Well, it's a rebirth as well, isn't it? As Per Reba goes up the inside of Jay Vincent, coming in to the Foggy S's. Good move, nice and clean. But yeah, it's a fairy tale story for Leon Camia. I remember being in the Grand Prix, following him around. His mum and dad have been an unbelievable support, just like all the other mums and dads, but I think they went the extra mole. It was in the national newspapers. They actually mortgaged their house just to help pay for Leon's career, and it really is a sacrifice, an unbelievable one. They've lived, you know, in conditions they probably wouldn't want to, just to help Leon on the way, and if he pays them back this afternoon, it couldn't be a better story.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he pays them back every weekend. He shows his determination, his focus, his dedication, and if he can win the British Supersport Championship, which is a top national championship, one of the strongest Supersport championships in the world. We've got riders like Per Reba. Per Reba, not that many years ago, was fighting for the World Supersport Championship, so that's the level we're at.
Yeah, runner-up there. 6 of the 18 laps to go. It's tense out there. Crutchlow leads the way. He's got a 6-second lead over Per Reba of Spain. Vincent is still 3rd with Camia, his teammate, but that will be changed very quickly once Jay Vincent realises he can let Camia take more points by going into 3rd.
Mid-season, Craig Jones, Cal Crutchlow's teammate, was getting all the attention. He's on the minds of the Tenkate Honda team for
Well, he had a ride at Bruno, very good ride too.
And doing a great job, and Cal Crutchlow was a little bit in the shadow, but Cal Crutchlow's really risen to that challenge and come good, and really he's been the dominant rider in that team, certainly towards the end of the season. Craig Jones, lots of strong rides, lots of Rossums, hasn't won a race this year, but Cal Crutchlow at the moment en route to winning his 3rd Supersport race of the season.
Well, I have to say, I thought Gary Eckerold and the team were inspired to choose both Craig Jones, but somebody who could challenge him, and Cal Crutchlow was definitely that. And the 2 youngsters, the 2, you know, cocky guys of the championship together, fighting it out, was just what they both wanted, and it's come to this. It's come to a chance where both of them can win the title.
Yeah, they're a great team, they're great mates, and they work well as a team. And I think Craig Jones has every bit as much talent as Cal Crutchlow, just that he hasn't clicked perfectly with the bike. He just needs to find the perfect setup. He rides really hard, no problem with focus and dedication. But
Well, he's finishing on the podium or just off it every time.
Cal Crutchlow's just got that extra mile. He's just clicked on a bike and on settings that work every time he jumps on the bike, and that builds confidence, and there's no stopping him at the moment.
Well, to be honest, up until Silverstone and then eventually Cadwell, where he took 2 wins, he was as consistent as Craig, but it has been the difference. Although 2 wins at Cadwell and Alton Park the last time out, and possibly even here, after 7 laps, he leads the way. 4.8 seconds the gap between Crutchlow and Reba at the moment. There you see it, 4.859. And there you can just see him out the side as he goes into the old hairpin. There Reba is coming down the hill. Jay Vincent, still third, is 5.4 seconds off. And there is that dry line forming. Now, how do the wets work once you get a dry line that's going to be getting hotter and drier by the minute?
If they get too hot, they don't work, but at the moment they're crossing a lot of standing water. The tyre temperatures will be kept quite cool, and they'll certainly be able to work. They won't chew up, they won't start rolling around. It's just when there's a wide enough line where you can't get on any water and cool the tyres, then that's when you start to get in trouble. But at the moment, all these guys are on the same tyres, so they're pretty much all in the same boat, and there's a bit of tyre conservation going on, but they really just need to get in the straights, get in the cool, get in the water, and keep these tyre temperatures down.
Yeah, like you say, that's the point standing as it is at the moment. Camia 195, Crutchlow 170, and Jones 166, and that would wrap it up for Camia. But look at Crutchlow, you can't take anything away from him, can you?
You certainly can't. Doing a brilliant job. He can't do any more.
Out of the Melbourne Loop, Reba tries to stand it up as quickly as he can in these conditions. In second position, having started pole position. He's already had 1 victory as Reba this year. That was at Silverstone, of course. He's had a couple of second place, 1 at Snetterton, and also got a podium at Mondello as well. So consistent year for Per.
A little bit of a wiggle there for Reba. Yeah, that ZX6RR Kawasaki working really well. These bikes launched a few years ago, really took a while to get going, to get competitive in Supersport Championships. Per Reba really has got the Discovery Kawasaki working well here.
Now, Paget's is a smart team, and I just wonder whether they're going to let Vincent hold on to third or give it to Camia. I think the smart move, given what the other boys are doing in front, is to give Camia third place if they get a chance.
Yeah, well, who knows if Clive Paget has given them any team orders. I wouldn't have imagined that he'd be thinking that Jay Vincent would have been fronting Camia at this point, but when the weather turns, then anything can happen.
Well, they've got a chance to put out the board for him. This, of course, the Metabo Supersport Championship, penultimate round. Camia about to take the title. He's got a good race so far. He's currently in 4th position. Laverty behind him, then Easton, and Jones has dropped off. Jones has dropped off considerably. He's down in 7th place now.
And we've got the Supersport Cup guys fighting out their own championship, a bit further down the field. Gary Johnson's down.
There, yeah.
Gary Johnson's down in 14th position. Greg Sproston, the championship leader, he's in 15th. And a little bit further down, Anthony Cooper. He's down there in 18th position, number 41.
Well, you can see the dry line for yourself, but there are bits, as you can see there, just jinking out. Jay Vincent getting onto the wet patches to cool the tyres down. Down into the Melbourne Loop he comes again on that dry line, making sure he doesn't get onto the power too early, slide right off that bike, but he does it brilliantly. Such skill, such experience in Jay Vincent. He is probably the most experienced guy out there, bar Per Reba.
Yeah, Per Reba doing a good job, yeah, but you know how hard he's trying. He's certainly backing that Kawasaki in, having a few wiggles here and there, but Jay Vincent edging a little bit closer to him in this lap.
Is it harder to ride in these conditions where you've got the drying line and the wet and the effectively changing conditions?
Exactly, and you hit it on the nail on the head there. Changing every lap, the track gets different, but you can see the track is bone dry in a lot of sections now, so you really have to be watching out what's happening to your tyres.
Somebody has come
Cal
off.
Crutchlow.
Cal Crutchlow has come off at the old hairpin. The man leading the race has come off. He had a 3-second lead, and the championship face has changed completely. Now, what a mistake, what a time to do it.
Well, that's his last hope of winning the British Supersport Championship gone, because Leon Camia has that in the bag now.
He will be destroyed. He's such a confident guy, and he knows he's done it in front of all the cameras, in front of a huge crowd here at Donington Park, in front of Gary Eckerhold, and it's his fault. He did nobody else to blame but himself.
it's not difficult getting caught out, and as we were saying, track conditions are changing all the time. He did have a 6-second lead. That he can't say that he was still pushing, because it did go down to 3.2 seconds. So
long walk back to meet his South African team manager, of course, who comes from a family of world champions. So yeah, it's going to be a long walk back for that man. Poor old Cal, he's a good mate, and I feel really sorry for him. But you saw Periba look over his shoulder and Vincent look over his shoulder. They now know what the situation is.
They certainly do. Periba en route at this stage, halfway through this race, to his second Supersport win of the year.
Yeah, incredible. 2 pole positions for 2 Spaniards, and possibly 2 wins for 2 Spaniards.
Spaniards are taking over.
Yep, the Armada is upon us, and Periba from Barcelona is leading the way. Jay Vincent, the only Englishman who can stop him at the moment. Leon Camia is still behind them, and that means that Camia will take a podium and the title.
And the championship.
What a difference a lap makes. Amazing, isn't it?
It certainly does. The trouble is, if you're swapping between the dry parts of the track and the wet part of the track, the tyres obviously getting wet and dry, and can so easily get caught out, and that's exactly what happened through this corner. The old hairpin, looks like Cal Crutchlow maybe just hit a bit of the damp part of the track off the dry onto the wet, and down he went. Perfectly okay, but at the moment...
Well, Reba's getting cool and confident now. He's put the fastest lap in of the race. And now with that drying line, he's just nice and smooth. This is classic Per Reba. He's only a little fella, and I agree with James Winton. He's probably the most popular guy in the paddock. He has so warmed everyone to him. He may be from another country, but he is, without doubt, probably the most popular rider out there.
He certainly is. Vincent in second.
Marcus getting out the way.
Yeah, sensibly so. Vincent second, Camia third. Eugene Laverty still a strong 4th position. Stuart Easton, Scottish rider there on the Ducati, in 5th, and Craig Jones in 6th.
Well, we are looking at Leon Camia, who is currently in 3rd position, number 2, about to become number 1. He is a diamond driller in his spare time, but he's coming up a gem at the moment. Laverty's behind him, and Easton has got up to the top 5. Jones is behind Easton, so I don't know what happened to Jones, but he went all the way back to about 8th place, and he's now back up to 6th, but a bit inconsistent by Craig Jones, and the only man that can stop this man, number 2.
Well, and the excitement at the front have also lost Tom Sykes. Tom Sykes, number 36, 3rd place qualifier. Must have gone out early on, because we haven't seen him.
You know, I also think back to last year, because Jay Vincent had such a great run last year, and of course Carl Harris was sublime and superb last year, and Paget's were there or thereabouts with both Camia and Vincent, and this is going to be such a big moment for them. Tom Sykes, I've heard, might have had a problem at Redgate. Let's hope he's okay. That was a shame.
Down at Redgate. We see Stuart Easton in the background there. Stuart Easton there. On the right is JXP Ducati just in the background, and the podium position is not out of the question for both Eugene Laverty and Stuart Easton there.
There you see, this is how it would stand if it finished now. 198, 166, 155, and that would give the title to Leon Camia of Great Britain. His mum and dad are right here this afternoon. Friends and family looking to celebrate with him. It's been a long, hard trek, including a long way all the way around to MotoGP and 125s that didn't come to anything. He had to come back here, swallow his pride. Started off as just a 16-year-old with a great hope, and now at 19 he's finally rebuilt it and gets a chance to win a British Championship and surely go on to bigger and better. He was talking about where he'd like to be next year. Of course he'd like to be in the British Superbikes, of course he'd like to be in the World Superbikes, and eventually maybe MotoGP. Long way off right now, but he's done the rebuilding perfectly.
He certainly has, and you've got to think it's only a matter of time before he's back in the world stage. He's got a good CV now, and a championship on that CV would be a nice bonus, and he's young, he's got lots of time.
Well, I know for a fact that some of the World Superbike boys are looking at him. He's had a few tests, in fact, at that level, and they have got a close eye on him, but of course, so too is the British Championship, because they are looking for the next Carl Harris.
This is developing into a nice little battle for 3rd position. Eugene Laverty there, looking down the inside into
Laverty doesn't care about the championship. He's a Red Bull man. He's going for it.
Yeah. of course, the Red Bull guys, they didn't show up at Open Park as a mark of respect to young Chris Jones, who unfortunately died after an accident at Cadwell Park. And great to see Clive Jones, Chris's father, here today,
and he wants to thank everybody. Sorry,
he really does. We're gonna get a word with him at Brands Hatch hopefully, but he's great to see him here, great to see the family here, and he'd just like to thank the thousands of people, messages, cards, presents that have been sent to him. So
yeah, he has been inundated by you, the fans. We are so delighted that you have felt the same way that everybody else has, which is to, you know, effectively say your feelings are with Clive Jones, because it's very important.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed.
12 of the 18 laps gone here in the Metabo Supersport race here, the penultimate round of the championship. You are watching Laverty just ahead of the man who is champion-elect, Leon Camier.
Stuart Easton there on the JHP Ducati, right behind Leon Camier down the inside. Yeah, you can't blame Leon Camier for playing it safe at the moment. That championship is his as he brings it home. He brings it home in this position.
Now, just heard that Camier has been under observation for oil smoke from the organisers. Now, this could prove vital. Absolutely vital. Let's keep an eye on it. He looked over his shoulder for a moment there.
That could be steam. You can see his screen steamed up there, and it could be just steam that's good. Oh, he's in trouble. He's boiling up.
Oh, that is awful.
That is
Having
a
built, oh, what a shame. What must be going through his mind? Well, what is that exactly?
Well, if it was really wet, you could say, well, maybe it's water spraying up through there getting hot, but you'd imagine that's
something else,
that's an engine, that's a radiator burst, that's an overheating motorcycle.
Well, he's not going to say a word, and he's certainly not. He knows there's a problem, but he's going to keep his head down. And now really in the hands of the organisers. But it's not causing a problem to other riders. It's not going to cause a problem to him yet. It doesn't look as though it's getting on the tyres.
No, I'm sure that's the biggest worry. Is you'll be watching his temperature gauge. They may well have taped up the radiator to keep the engine temperature up in the wet conditions.
Well, they have eagle eyes, that's for sure, in race control. Good on them, because they spotted that, and they have got him under observation. But this would mean that the championship would go now all the way to the end.
He's
go all the way to Brands.
He looks like he's slow. Maybe not.
Well, he's dropping off a little bit, but I think that's just to be a little bit cautious, surely. And he's got back markers in front of him. 13 of the 18 laps gone. He's going through the motions, he's changing gear all right, and he's got some sort of problem with the radiator as he heads down under the Dunlop Bridge again. What a shame for Leon Camier. There's the Paget's team, Clive Paget and the boys watching paget's on. I mean, how can this happen? I mean, it doesn't happen. I've never seen this.
Very unusual. Paget Honda's 100% reliable most of the time, and I can only think that yeah, maybe the conditions drying out. The radiator has been taped up to stop the water over-cooling it, if you like, and now the engine's getting a bit hot, but the bike seems to be performing okay, and it may well go the distance.
Well, I can't see any reason why they would necessarily pull him in. It hasn't got worse, although I'm just being hopeful, maybe. Let's hope he can hang on to it, because I tell you what, I've seen some pretty interesting races at Donington Park over the years where people have had mechanical problems and they've just held on and kept going, and that's exactly what Leon Camier is doing. He's not leading this race.
Well, that's really like a kettle boiling in your face there. Fortunately, he's got the visor. It's not going to get hot.
We'll get the bags out.
His visor not steaming up at all as far as we can see, but he's keeping his head off to one side there.
It's really just a matter of if it blows or not, really, because it's not causing any real danger to him, like you say, except for perhaps the vision, but he's leaning off the bike and he's got particularly clear vision. He's fine on that.
You just keep his eye on the temperature gauge. These bikes will run at 100, they'll run at 105, but when it starts getting higher
he's dropped it off, but up by only 2 seconds, so he's running around in the 150s when everybody else is running around in the 147s, 148s.
Well, if you can just nurse that bike home.
Well, the interesting part now is that the 6th place Jones is only 10 seconds behind him. Ha! Think about that one for a second.
Well, 10 seconds, 4 laps to go. It's unlikely that he'll make it up, but of course, if he does have a problem with the bike, then things could change.
Well, you say that. Jones has just put his fastest lap in on the last lap of 148.2 compared to Camier's 150.6.
And there is
Jones in the background.
Jones, the second white helmet there in the background.
Don't count this out. There may be a twist in the tail. Under the Dunlop Bridge comes Craig Jones, and he is flying now. He knows it too. Look, there he is, coming out of the foggy S's.
Well, he is 2 seconds a lap faster than Cammy at the moment, so...
Well, he'll catch him by Goddard's or Redgate if it's doing it that quick. There he is. Fantastic. Craig Jones! Oh! Well, I could read the whole of Nokia then. It didn't just say N, it said Nokia.
One for the sponsors.
Well, no kidding. He knows how to please them. Fantastic stuff. Well, we've got a limping Leon Camia, and we've got a furious head down Craig Jones sliding out of the last corner. He's definitely got his head down and bum up because he can see the man, the only man who can stop him from winning the British title with a problem. And his team, I'm sure, will be telling him that he's got a problem. And there he is with the Union Jacks, or the Cross of St George on each knee. And he's going after Camia. That's the scalp he wants. Down the Craner curves, catching him at 2 seconds a lap.
Well, you just know he'll be inspired. You can see Leon Cammy coming back to him. There's plenty of time now to get the touches. Cammy keeps the same pace. There's Leon Cammy, there's Craig Jones coming out the old hairpin.
Well, I think I'm right in saying that Cammy will not take the title if Jones beats him.
And Jamie Robinson, not that far behind Craig Jones.
No. And also being hampered now, but I'll tell you what, given the circumstances, you know, you could argue that Cammy might be out of this race, and if he'd have thought that he was in any danger, he might have pulled off, but he is going for it, and he's going to try to hold on and hold off Craig Jones. He's having enough trouble with the back markers at the moment.
He certainly didn't get a very good drive out of Composite, managing to get down the inside into one of the lap riders. Craig Jones even closer.
Well, I'm just praying that Camia can nurse it to the end, because regardless of the circumstances of the bike, I'd much prefer to see him get there than conk out with a lap to go and allow Craig Jones to come through and keep this battle alive. Oh, look at Craig Jones nerfing his way through. How sideways does he like it?
That is amazing. He is the only rider in that championship that can do that sort of stuff.
Well, he did this on the Triumph last year. Remember, he took Triumph's only win of the year here last year. Look at the steam and smoke coming off Leon Camia, number 2's bike, as Craig Jones reels him in at Goddard's. Another lap completed.
At one point, I thought that bike could stop by one lap, but it's had a bit of a resurgence.
Here comes, it's Honda versus Honda, but the black one's going to beat the white one by the looks of things. Up Redgate, see you, son. You want the championship or don't you? Ooh, well, Camia has closed the door at Redgate.
I think that was your answer there.
Yeah, I think that was that nicely. Yeah, no, I'm not finished yet, mate. Just because I've got a third radiator, it doesn't mean I'm going to let you pass.
Well, for Craig Jones, there's no rush. He's obviously caught very quickly. There's no rush to pass him where it might be dangerous for either rider.
I think Jones just let him know he's there.
He certainly did that.
In no uncertain terms. Easton going through. Stuart Easton looks as though he's going to get a result.
He's in 4th position.
Back with Leon Camia, though, and Craig Jones. Penultimate lap before the last. And, well, so far Camia doing a good job, but surely here comes Jones up the inside of Coppice.
That's a brave maneuver.
By him.
Brave pass. He had to get out in the wet part, get back on the dry bit, and still make Coppice.
So, book your tickets, head to Brands, because it's not over.
Leon Camy's doing a good job bringing this bike home.
Yeah, he is actually. He's doing superb. This is actually the ride of the year for Leon Camia, because the circumstances, with the pressure of the championship, and he knows what's at stake. We've asked how mature he is. Wet conditions, a problem with the bike, and he's hanging on in there.
You see in the back straight there, the steam appears to disappear. It's just through this section, out of the S's, round the Melbourne hairpin. Craig Jones.
Could it be something to do with the brake pads?
Well,
it's definitely coming out of the radiator.
Yeah, a lot of air through it on the back straight there, and maybe just cooling it down a little bit. But this section of the track just really boiling over. Something. I mean, that steam's coming from somewhere. That's not water from the track. There's a lot of steam coming.
Well, we
from the radiators, from the engine.
James Whittam to get his microscope out and be right down on that bike, talking to Clive Paget and finding out what's going on, because it'll be very intriguing indeed. Either way, it's a superb ride. Look how determined he looks in that visor.
Well, if nothing else, it's a huge psychological test for the rider when you're looking at that lap after lap.
Well, Reba, Vincent, Laverty, Easton, Jones and Camia. The battle for the championship, maybe only for 5th and 6th, but it's fascinating. Per Reba, incidentally, still leading by 7 seconds on Jay Vincent. Doesn't matter, though, because really, we want to know who's going to take the title, because what needs to happen, there you see it, Camia 192, Jones with 167, gives himself a mathematical chance of winning at Brands, but that's all it is.
It's always nice to go to the last round.
Oh, it should do, because it's been a cracking year all year. Very close indeed. Camia, Jones, Crutchlow and Reba have really given it their all. Plenty of others have played their part, but on lap 17 of 18 now.
We've got Jamie Robinson right behind Leon Camia there. Jamie Robinson.
He wouldn't mind that scout, would he?
Number 77, he's got a good chance. There's still time left for him, and a lap and a quarter left for Jamie Robinson to get up into 6th position.
Barbecue time then for Camia as the smoke will pour again. Coming over the hill, I'm sure. Yeah, there's no smoke there, and then suddenly, when he comes over the crest here, off we go again. But no, it doesn't look as it's gone here this time. Ooh, Wooden Robinson queuing up to overtake him at Melbourne.
He certainly doesn't seem to have lost any performance on the important straight, on the back straight there.
Robinson, 77, looking to try and see if he can get ahead of Camia before the end of this race.
Well, we got smoke now, got smoke from the exhaust, I'm pretty sure. Was that just water spray? I thought there was smoke.
Well,
maybe not.
Only one lap to go now, so Camia surely now will complete the race. Clive Badgett with his fingers, arms and legs crosses. Robinson looks up the inside.
That's tight. That was tight.
Well, can Camia hold on to 6th place? In front of him is Craig Jones, and that gives him a chance of keeping the championship alive. Per Reba is going to take his 2nd victory of the year, from pole to victory. It's an all-Spanish affair here at Donington Park, but for the championship, it's Leon Camia, who we're watching, who's had all sorts of problems to deal with, both the wet conditions, the other riders getting in his way. He didn't get the best of starts. He was down in 8th position. He crawled his way up to the top 4, and then hit some sort of mechanical problem, we think. Radiator perhaps, are we agreeing on that?
Well, his lap time in that last lap was a 1:48.106, and that's matching the pace at the front here as Jamie Robinson goes up the inside into Coppice. Nice clean pass there. Brave pass, but clean pass.
So Camia loses another place. Robinson gets a good scalp, and it's good to see Jamie Robinson scoring good points finally again. It's been a long, hard trek for him. We've been talking about Camia's long, hard trek back to greatness. Robinson's story isn't that different. He's been in a bit of a jam, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's done a good job to put himself back on form. It's been a couple of years where he really has clicked with the Honda this year, but Jamie Robinson had a lot of strong rides.
And there is Per Reba, as he takes victory. Nick Morgan and his team delighted. 2nd victory of the year. What a way to go. Across the line comes Jay Vincent. A 2nd place for him and Padgett. In 3rd place, Laverty, number 50, just behind. There he is, coming across the line, and another good Red Bull victory, or podium for him as he comes across the line in 3rd. Camia, there's Jones, and he punches the air, realising that he is still in contention for the title, because Camia, despite that valiant effort, he'll score good points, but it won't be enough to take the overall title, mathematically anyway. Per Reba took victory, his 2nd of the year, from pole to flag. Great result for him in the wet. Jay Vincent 2nd, Eugene Laverty taking 3rd on the Honda. So Kawasaki Honda, then Craig Jones's Honda, most importantly finishing 4th, and more importantly finishing ahead of Leon Camia to keep things alive. Camia coming across the line valiantly in 7th place. Jamie Robinson and Stuart Easton just going past him in the late stages. Simon Andrews got back up to 8th position. Matt Llewellyn finished 9th, Lee Dickinson 12th, Gary Johnson, Craig Sprouston just behind Johnson for the Cup competition for Supersport. So good job done by Gary Johnson. Stephen Neate, Kieran Murphy, Tom Tunstall 15th, James Hillier 16th place. Overall in the championship, then Leon Camia now has 191 points, and really Craig Jones almost needs to get Leon to miss Brown.